Welcome to another episode of Battle Axe here at the Bustin Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque, Iowa. I'm Joey Danya, alongside, as always, Bobby Bradford. Battle Axe is all about getting as many points as you can, and we're going to break down exactly how the scoring works for you right now. There's a total of 6 points for the bullseye, but starting with the outwardmost ring, that's worth 1, and then going in, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, and the bullseye, as I mentioned, is worth 6 points. Now, those small little blue circles on the outermost ring, those are for the kill shots. Those are worth 8 points. If a player elects to go for a kill shot, they get 8 points if they hit it. If they miss, they get nothing. Ladies first here on today's episode. First up, Gina Feenstra will take on Sarah Fittig. Fittig and Feenstra touch tips of the axes, and we are set to go, Bobby.
We are all ready to go. Sarah had a nice first week. Gina also had a nice first week, so this should be a good matchup.
3 and 3.
So a couple of threes for Feenstra and Fittig right out of the gates.
And, of course, Sarah and her husband, Brian, they were the ones that built the axe throwing range in their garage, so we'll see the week-to-week progression. I'm sure it'll pay off.
Now, obviously, the season is young, but oddly enough, Feenstra and Fittig both come into this matchup averaging identical scores of 40.8 points per game, Bobby.
Yeah, one of those early season anomalies that we have going on in week 2, but as you can see, Gina with the 1-3 record, Sarah with the 2-2 record. Very close competition, and all tied up after 2 throws.
7 all.
4 Sarah, 3 Gina.
And now we have our first lead of the game as Fittig throws a 4. She takes an 11-10 advantage.
Well, one thing we've noticed out of Gina from leagues past this year, she's much more consistent with her throw. Very few drops, so doing a really good job of progressing as a player.
4 and 4.
Yeah, eliminating those drops was something that Feenstra worked tirelessly on in the offseason, and it is paying off here in season number 3 on Battle Axe.
But as we're also finding out as well, Sarah is a very consistent thrower as well, and trying to hone in on that 5 and 6 ring there. Getting closer and closer with every throw.
And it's only fitting that Fittig throws a 5 right as you talk about her improvement throughout the course of this game, Bobby.
Absolutely. Sometimes it's just about narrowing down that throw just a little bit each time, and right on cue again. She hits what could be a bullseye.
5 Sarah.
So it is a 5, just missing the bullseye did Fittig, but she's really getting into a groove. She now has a 3-point advantage with just 4 throws to go.
Yeah, but again, no real mistakes here from Gina. She's doing a good job of staying in the game, staying within striking distance here.
4 Gina.
So the official gets a closer look at that throw from Fittig. It's a 4 for both Feenstra and Fittig to remain a 3-point game with just 3 throws to go.
And it's really important for both players. You know, Sarah's got to learn to keep the pedal to the metal and keep putting on points, and Gina has to just stay within striking distance, and that is not the throw she wanted right there. Yeah,
we were talking about how neither of these competitors had really made any big mistakes thus far, and there's the first throw to really get away from Gina Feenstra, and it couldn't have come at a costlier time. It's now a 5-point advantage for Sarah Fittig.
Correct. You never want to rely on your opponent to make a mistake. You always want to be the aggressor in that situation. But that's what Gina needs right now. She needs Sarah to make a mistake to
this is going to be your last
come back
throw.
in this game.
Sarah's up by 5 points.
Now, Feenstra could go for the kill shot, but it is still very early on in the season. Every point matters, so we'll see if Feenstra goes for the kill shot or she just takes the easy money here, and she does. Looks like she threw a 4.
Looks like a 4, and I was going to say that was really close to a bullseye there for Sarah to end it. But, again, a nice score for Sarah Fittig, 42 to Gina's 36. It was just that 1-2 on the 8th throw that was really, you can see Gina's kind of getting a closer look. Wants all the points she can possibly get, but good game for both players.
36 to 42.
So a nice performance here from Sarah Fittig, a nice model of consistency. After that opening 3, she really got into a groove, put up a score of 42, slightly above her season average of 40.8 to get a 6-point victory over Gina Feenstra.
Yeah, she did a really good job from that 5th throw on to kind of dial in that throw, getting much closer to that 6 than Gina was able to, and it was just that mistake by Gina on the 8th throw that really kept her out of this game.
A lot for both of these ladies to build on here on Battle Axe. We're going to throw it down now to an interview with Sarah Fittig as we asked her about her performance in week number 1.
Started out kind of slow, started out with a pretty low number and then gradually worked my way up. I felt pretty good. You know, only being the second time on TV, it was one of those things where I was like, okay, I'll just do my best and see what happens. So I was just trying to really focus on me and focus on how I was throwing and try to improve from last week.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, now we're going to get to know Chris D'Onofrio a little better. D'Onofrio is going to tell us about the first time he ever threw an axe and his goals for his axe throwing career.
That was Halloween of last year. Came out on a double date. Absolutely fell in love with it. Eric was talking about we have a league, that kind of thing, and so I signed up next day and I haven't looked back. Played competitive soccer for 19 years, played for the Navy as well, semi-pro. So it was a lot of fun, and it taught me that composure. When it's game time, you gotta put on that focus and know the difference between focus and hyper-focus. Hyper-focus, like you really gotta dial it in, to where the focus is just normal games, staying grounded and doing your thing. Just coming into a group of people who are like-minded, who like to compete, and have that drive to be the best. And that's what really fuels me, is to not just be good. I want to be great. And that's what I've learned from soccer and then also MMA. I mean, I fought only amateur, but at the same time, still having that ability to come into a situation, adapt to whatever's happening, and really just dialing it in and not getting in your head and that kind of thing, and being able to stay that regular focus, not the hyper focus, but the regular focus, and do your thing. Taking those situations like that and putting it back into the home atmosphere and trying not to get too loose, but still exceed and improve and get better. I want to be U.S. Open champion, world champion. That's what I want, and I'm going to get there.
Chris D'Onofrio, a man with ninja-like focus and the highest of goals.
Exactly. One of the true great competitors in our league, and excited for this next matchup that we have here, Joey.
Yeah, Chris D'Onofrio is going to be back at it. He's going to go up against Casey Bullseye Buell. Chris the Dagger D'Onofrio ready for a big-time matchup right now.
Yep, Chris coming in at 4-0, Casey at 2-2, but these are very evenly matched competitors. This will be a fun game.
D'Onofrio averaging 51 points per game after the opening week of the season. Buell coming in with an average of 46 points per. Nice start here for D'Onofrio with a bullseye.
Yep, and again, going back to that focus that he's talking about, he's trying to stay in that focus mentality,
5 Casey.
even through these regular season games, all leading up to that Week 8 double elimination tournament.
So Buell throws a 5. It's a 4 for D'Onofrio to make it a 1-point game.
And again, Casey's one of those players that when he gets locked in, he can beat anybody in this league. When he's throwing more 4s and everything like that, he kind of gets locked into that as well. So it's all about him getting into his rhythm. And as you can see, he kind of wants to take a look at that. But
No, I saw it when I walked
looks like
up.
it was a bullseye there instead of a 5. So nice throw by Casey Buell.
First bull for Casey Bullseye Buell.
And
Good
again,
throw there from D'Onofrio. Looks like a 5.
Bullseye Casey, 5 Chris.
And Buell now with back-to-back bullseyes and a shot at the
All right,
unicorn.
5th throw, Casey's up by 1 point.
so again, it looks like Casey's pretty locked in with this. Again, kind of rising to the challenge of facing a competitor like Chris. And it's another nice throw there. We'll have to get a closer look to see.
Bullseye Chris, bullseye Casey.
It is a unicorn for Casey Bullseye Buell. He's living up to his name. He's got a 1-point advantage. What a game we've got going here, Bobby.
Absolutely. We'll see if Casey and Chris can carry it over to the turn. Again, it's all about keeping that pedal on the metal. Looks like a 5 there for Chris.
Bullseye Casey, 5 Chris.
And another bullseye there for Casey. So just a tremendous showing.
4 straight bullseyes for Buell. D'Onofrio trailing by 2 now with 4 throws to go.
But again, you see that focus on Chris's face. He's not going to let his opponent get in his head, or at least that's what he's
Bullseye
working
Chris,
on.
4 Casey.
And there he left the door open for Chris to come back and tie this game up. A devastating 4 at the 7th throw. Casey's got to refocus on that bullseye throw.
4 Casey.
You can't have those mistakes,
5
Joey.
Chris.
That is a throw that Casey Buell wishes he could certainly have back, but not too much damage done as
Exactly.
D'Onofrio throws a 5. So it's a 1-point game, 2 throws to go.
Again, each competitor really wants to pile on the points there. You can see Casey getting
5 and
back in
5?
that 5 ring, but unable to capitalize because Chris was able to throw 5 as well. So
All right,
coming down the last throw.
Chris is up by 1.
A 1-point lead for D'Onofrio here with 1 throw to go. It all comes down to this.
Yeah, Casey needs Chris to make a mistake, and that's just something the dagger does not do.
Bullseye Chris. 5 Casey.
Chris D'Onofrio
That was
throws
good
in a
game.
bullseye
It was
for
51
the
Casey,
dagger.
53 Chris.
He beats Casey Buell 53-51. Well, what a matchup this was. Chris D'Onofrio edging out Casey Buell by 2 points. The postseason is a long ways away, but in many ways, this felt like a late postseason game, Bobby.
Absolutely. You could see that there was just tremendous focus by each competitor. Again, Casey with those 4 6s to start off the game. Really a nice showing. But again, Chris hung around. Chris stayed within a striking distance. And that was those 2 mistakes that Casey had on the 7th and 8th throw that allowed Chris to come back in. And again, then Chris didn't make a mistake and kind of shut the door on him.
Perfect example of why you just need to hang around and then finish strong. Exactly what D'Onofrio did here in this matchup. We've got much more Battle Axe still to come on week number 2. We'll bring it to you straight ahead on MC22. Welcome back to Battle Axe here on MC22 at the Bustin Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque, Iowa. I'm Joey Danya alongside Bobby Bradford to bring you all of the action from week number 2 here of this 7-week regular season leading up to week number 8 for the double elimination postseason tournament. Time now for our next matchup, and love is in the air here on Battle Axe. Brian Fittig is going to take on his wife, Sarah Fittig. Either way, a Fittig is going to win this
Y'all are
one.
good
Bobby.
to go whenever.
You're exactly right, Joey. We are going to have a fitting ending to this match, and it's always great to see a husband and a
5
wife in
and
the
5.
league, and it's always fun. It's always an extra little thing when they get
You're
to
good.
square off, so fun to see.
I was waiting to see is that a bullseye.
Yeah, the couple that throws axes together
Yep,
stays
bullseye.
together. That's what we say here on Battle Axe.
We've said it before, and we'll say it again.
Brian Fittig's got a unique approach to his throw. He really steps into it and puts a lot of oomph into that throw, Bobby.
Correct, and no, this is the first time we've seen Brian throw. He has
Four
a
zero,
high
5,
average
Brian.
score. You can see he's got a 4-0 record, one of the top competitors in the league right out of the gate. And though there's a lot of motion
What?
in his throw, he is very, very accurate.
An average score of 50 points per game after the opening week of the season. He's off to a hot start here, leading 11-9.
Yeah, and every
5-0.
player approaches their throw a little differently. We haven't really seen anyone kind of step in and throw, but that kind of lends to Brian's
Brian.
big axe throwing. So there's a completely separate event that these competitors do called big axe throwing, where they're throwing, get this, Joey, bigger axes. And that kind of throwing style is a little more prone to the big axe competition. So I bet it's a way for him to stay consistent with this throw, no matter the axe he's throwing.
5 and 5.
But again, Sarah's sticking around. She's within striking distance. She's waiting on Brian to make a
fifth
mistake.
Row, Brian's up by 2 points.
Not the best position to be in, but again, she's within striking distance.
Yeah, she's had a real nice start here as well. All 5s to go along with 1 4, and it
5
looks
and
like another
5.
5 for Sarah Fittig. It is. And it's a 5 for Brian Fittig. So still a 2-point game here as these players get set to switch sides and get the second half of this one underway.
Yeah, it's one of the great things about this game, Joey, is that a player can really
But
kind of
Brian
make up a lot of
Sarah?
points. You know, that's kind of an example right there of how Brian can increase a lead by Sarah's slight mistake, but that's what Sarah was hoping for. She was hoping for Brian to throw 4, and so she could land that bullseye and knot this thing up. But instead, it's a 4-point lead for Brian.
Brian's second bullseye of the day. And he might have a third right here.
See, 4
Yep,
Sarah,
it looks like it.
bullseye Brian.
It is another bullseye for Brian Fittig. He's got a shot now at a unicorn. 3 consecutive bullseyes.
Well, and we know from interviews past that this is not the first time that they squared off against each other. I mean, they built one range in the garage, but they quickly had to build another one because they're both
5
playing in the
and
league.
3, Sarah?
I would imagine it's pretty much eat, sleep, and throw axes at the fitting house.
Yeah, it's a great way to relieve the stress. It's a great activity just to kind of, if you have it, you just go out and have some fun and get better in the process.
There's another nice throw from Brian Fittig and an even better throw from
5,
Sarah Fittig.
4, Brian.
It's a 5 for Sarah Fittig.
Yep, so it looks like the bottom of Brian's
All right,
blade
This is your 10th throw. Brian's up by 7
didn't cross into that
points.
5 line. So a nice job from Sarah to kind of make up some points. And I bet as the weeks go on, we're going to see a little more aggressive kill shot action going on here.
Ooh. 4, Brian. Bullseye, Sarah.
Well, nice finish here from Sarah Fittig with her first
All right,
bullseye
good game,
of the
Sarah.
match.
You ended at 46,
But it's
Brian
her husband,
51.
Brian Fittig, who comes out on top 51 to 46, and it's all smiles from the Fittings after this one, Bobby.
Yep, love is in the air, and it's not going to be the last time they meet up for sure. But a nice showing there by Brian. A lot of 5s, a lot of 6s, and right around that average score, 51 there. But again, nice job for Sarah to pepper in that bullseye at the end, give her confidence for other matches that she has later tonight.
Yeah, 3 bullseyes in this round for Brian Fittig. That axe throwing range they built in the garage is paying big dividends here in season number 3 of Battle Axe. Let's throw it down to Brian right now for more on what it was like going up against his wife.
That's probably going to come back and bite me. You know, there's probably some consequences with that, but I treat her just like everybody else. So, like I said, there'll be some consequences, I'm sure. That's why we drove separately tonight.
Going to be a long ride home for both the Fittings, I guess.
Well, if they took separate cars, it should be all right for them. So,
Brian's going to be doing the dishes, you would think, at least. Well, let's get another matchup going right now. Brandon Feenstra ready to take on Stephanie Prine. Prine and Feenstra set to go here on week number 2 of season 3 here on Battle Axe.
yep, this is going to be a good matchup here. Brandon coming in as a strong
Bullseye,
player,
Brandon,
and
for
Stephanie has
Stephanie.
just been incredibly improved from the last leagues that we have seen. So,
A great start for Brandon Feenstra. It's a bullseye. Prine throws a 4. And yeah, Bobby, we've seen so much improvement from so many of these players throughout the course of Battle Axe.
absolutely, you can see a lot of the players that used to struggle with
For
drops
Brandon,
a lot.
5
There's
Stephanie.
much more consistent throw, much more hitting the board, sticking the board as well, and much higher average scores as well.
Yeah, and the matchups are a great reflection of that. We've seen some impressive matchups, some thrilling action here to start season number 3.
Correct, and a nice throw there by Stephanie.
5,
And just to
Stephanie.
look, the bottom part of that axe
5, Brandon.
has to hit both sides of that bullseye, and it looks like it did not, so that is a 5 for Brandon to take a slim 1-point lead into the 4th throw.
We've got a good one going here so far between Feenstra and Prine.
But again, you can tell both players hanging around that board. No real
That's
wild
Stephanie.
throws going on here, something that we've seen actually from both of these players in leagues past. So a nice job staying within that 4, 5, 6 ring.
Brandon.
Yeah, here in week number 2, outside of a 2, we haven't seen any real mistakes. No drops whatsoever yet.
All right, 5th throw.
These
Brandon's
players
up by
really
1 point.
performing at a consistent high level.
Again, going back to what Chris was saying in that player profile, everyone's got that hyper focus that seems to be going on, and that was
Poor
a
Brandon.
great bullseye,
Steph.
bullseye there by Stephanie Prine.
Prine putting the pink lady right where she wanted it. She takes a 1-point lead now heading to the second half.
Heading into the turn, up by 1. Now you got to learn how to keep that pedal to the metal.
For
Looks like
Brandon.
that's going to be close. I think that's a 4, but we got to get a closer look to see at the bottom there
Stephanie.
again. So that bottom part of the axe not crossing over into that 5 ring, but still matching what Brandon did. Still up by 1. It's a little bit like trading points in basketball.
Prine coming into this matchup averaging 38.8 points per game, and she's really
5 Stephanie.
performing at a high level in this one. No doubt she's going to surpass that average here.
Yeah, barring any major mistakes, it looks like she's going to be over that. So again, average is going to be going up, and a nice job at add-on points there against Brandon. Brandon with a little errant throw, and Stephanie with a little errant throw as well.
4 Brandon, 4
Couple of
Stephanie.
fours from Prine and Feenstra. Prine leading 38-36 with just 2 throws to go.
Again, we want to see, you want to be in a position where you want to be in control of the match. You don't want to have to rely on your opponent
4
to
Brandon, 3
make
Stephanie.
a mistake. And unfortunately, that's exactly what Stephanie just did there. She made a
All
mistake,
right,
kind
this
of
is your
leaving
10th
Brandon
throw. Stephanie is up by 1
a
point.
room to come back into this match.
Yeah, she opens up the door a little bit here now. It's just a 1-point lead for Prine heading into the final throw. Pretty good throw there from Feenstra.
Ooh, that's going to be very close. We're going to have to see if that's a 5 for Brandon on the bottom part of the axe.
5 Brandon, 4
And it
Stephanie.
is. So, Joey, first time this year.
All
We're
right,
going
you're
to sudden
tied at
death.
45.
45 all.
Okay, sudden
So
death.
each player has to go for a kill shot. The closest to the kill shot wins the match. If they both hit the kill shot, they have to go to the alternative kill shot, and they just go back and forth until someone misses. So Brandon with a bit of an errant throw there. And Stephanie looks like she's closer. We're going to wait for an official
Stephanie's
ruling.
closer. Stephanie
And
won.
Stephanie Prine gives the camera some love. She is pumped up. What a big win and a big throw from Stephanie Prine to take
Good
down
job. It was
Brandon
45,
Feenstra.
45.
Well, Brandon Feenstra put the pressure on Stephanie Prine right out of the gates with the bullseye and a real strong start, but Prine was always right there in it, and she came up with the big kill shot when she needed it to get the win.
Yeah, Stephanie just hung around the match the entire time, didn't let the deficit get too big, and just nice, consistent throws there at the end. She did kind of leave the door open once she took the lead to let Brandon kind of come back in this thing, but again, had the ice in her veins to get close to the kill shot and sudden death, and a really exciting matchup.
Yeah, what a thriller it was. Let's throw it down now to Stephanie Prine for more about her exciting win.
It was good. It was fun. Just kind of right. We just stayed right there with each other. Either he would throw a 6 or I'd throw a 4. We just sort of danced back and forth right up to the end where it went to sudden death. So it's always fun when it ends like that.
Congrats to Stephanie Prine. Much more still to come here on week number 2 of Battle Axe. Stay tuned here on MC22. Welcome back to Battle Axe. We've seen some thrilling action thus far here in week number 2 at the Bustin Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque, Iowa. We just saw Brandon Feenstra and Stephanie Prine go toe-to-toe. Prine won a sudden death victory over Feenstra. Let's throw it down now to Brandon Feenstra for his goals on the season.
Yeah, my struggle, my goal last year was average, and I think this year I can step it up to just slightly above average, and that's really kind of what I want to be, is just slightly above average. So
Big goals for Brandon Feenstra, Bobby.
Hey, realistic goals for Brandon, and those are achievable goals throughout the season, and good to have.
Cody Joachim set to go here, and Brandon Feenstra going to try and flush that overtime loss and get right back out there to get a victory.
Yeah, you see Cody coming in at 4-0, one of the good players, new players in this league. A little bit of David versus Goliath kind of thing going on here too, Joey.
Bullseye Brandon for Cody.
Cody Joachim, a perfect 4-0 on the season. He is averaging just under 45 points per game. That's what Brandon Feenstra just put up in his sudden death loss to Stephanie Prine.
And again, another bullseye there, looks like, for Brandon.
Bullseye Brandon
So nice start for him.
for Cody.
Kind of creating a big point differential here between Cody Joachim.
Yeah, Brandon Feenstra will not be intimidated. Couple of bullseyes and a chance at a unicorn here. And Joachim probably wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, that's one of those things, Joey, all these competitors have to learn, that in
4
these tight
and
matches,
4.
you have to maintain that focus and composure and just keep your eye on the prize. But again, a 4 there by each player. Still a 4-point lead for Brandon. It's important for him to remain locked in. Keep looking at that 6 bullseye. Ooh.
Well, there's a throw that gets away from Brandon Feenstra after
Cody.
such a nice start. Now he's opening that door right back up. We'll see if it's a 3 or a 4. Keep in mind, both sides of the blade have to be touching the scoring area.
Yep,
This
looks
one is awfully close.
awfully close. It looks like they're going to bring Brandon in. He can challenge it if he wants to. I mean, it's ever so close. And again, a 3 versus a 4 in a matchup this close, it
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
could be huge. So Brandon decides it's a 3.
All right.
Good
So this is
sportsmanship.
your 5th throw then?
Still up by
Brandon's
3.
up by 3.
So it'll be interesting to see how Brandon responds from that bad throw. Sometimes he holds on to the axe a little bit too long, and a nice release there
Let's see.
to possibly
4
get-
Brandon, 4 Cody.
So a couple of 4s from Feenstra and Joachim. It remains a 3-point lead for Brandon Feenstra. They're going to switch sides and get set for the second half. Great matchup thus far.
Yeah, Cody with 5 consecutive 4s. I don't know if he's going to keep his streak going with that. That might
5
be a
Cody,
5 there.
3 Brandon.
But, just slightly move that axe a little bit, and then you're landing 5s and 6s all the time. So good, consistent throwing there by Cody.
Joachim is a player who we've seen can get hot in a hurry, and that's exactly what he's going to look to do here on the back half of this one. Nice
4
throw
Brandon,
from
5
Feenstra.
Ooh.
Better throw from Joachim.
Just a devastating miss there by Brandon. Throws a 4, leaves Cody just enough room to come back in this game. So we are all knotted up here going into the 8th throw.
Look at that determinant look from
Ooh.
Cody
Bullseye,
Joachim.
Cody, 5
And
Brandon.
Cody is locked in. Something about that left-hand lane tonight, Joey. Really playing well for people. So 35-36, Cody with a 1-point lead. Brandon now not in the driver's seat. Has to come back in this one.
First bullseye of the match for Cody Joachim. It couldn't have come at a better time.
4 Cody,
Ooh. So 4 for Cody. Let's see if Brandon.
4 Brandon.
It's ever so close, just like that 3 that he threw.
All
Unable to
right.
capitalize on
Last
Cody's
throw,
4.
Cody's up by
It's all
1.
going to come down to the final throw. Cody Joachim with a 1-point lead here as we get set for the 10th and final throw.
Can Feenstra do it again? Can he come back on the final throw to tie this thing up? It's going to need a mistake by Cody.
4 and 4.
He doesn't get it.
Good game. Brandon,
So Cody
43,
Joachim
Cody 44.
wins a nail biter, 44-43. Well, Brandon Feenstra certainly put the pressure on right away. A pair of bullseyes, but Cody Joachim never hit the panic button. He was consistent throughout, and then he really closed strong.
Yeah, he just kind of hung around those consistent 4s to start the game. Obviously not what he wanted. He wanted to come out there on those 5s and 6s, but a good job of staying focused and then coming back and taking the lead and then maintaining the lead. Not an easy thing to do versus Brandon.
And now earlier we heard from Feenstra about his goals for the season. Let's hear now from Stephanie Prine about her goals for this season.
Consistency is my goal. I'm not really trying to catch anybody I kind of want to catch the guys. I kind of hate that it's just every league season, it's just boom, 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 the 3 guys up at the top. And I think it's time for a girl to come in and just mess it up a little bit. So, I'm working on it.
Girl power, Stephanie Prine here to mess things up, Bobby.
That's all right. That's all right. She took down Brandon, and we'll see if she can take down Eric the Scope Chisel.
Yeah, the defending champion, Eric Chisel, going up against Stephanie Prine. Eric Chisel, keep in mind, is throwing with his left hand this season after an injury to his throwing hand.
Yeah, but just a tremendous job by Eric this year
For
of putting
Eric,
up a consistent
by
score. I
Stephanie.
mean, if you're coming in this league new, you really wouldn't know that he wasn't throwing left-handed all this time.
Yeah, it's remarkable. He's been able to average nearly 45 points per game with his left hand.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you talk to Eric, he would want to be averaging more than that because he has high expectations, especially being a past champion. But still respectable numbers, and he can beat anybody any given day.
4 and 4.
Couple of 4s from Chisel and Prine.
It looks like the Scope's relying on a little more of the trash talk and cerebral approach here. He knows that Stephanie's coming in hot, so he's trying to get her off her game a little bit. See how Stephanie responds.
The Scope closing that eye and getting the Scope in
4
line.
3
You
Eric.
can tell he's just devastated by that 3. A 2-point lead here for Stephanie going into the 4th throw, and now she's giving it back a little bit.
Such a mental game, and right now, Stephanie Prine is having some fun.
Exactly. Well, when we've seen in past matches, there's not a lot of talking going on back and forth. These players
5
are
Eric,
getting
4
into that
Stephanie.
mode of getting ready for the tournament.
All right,
but
this is
this
your
is a little more fun, having fun
5th
time.
throw. Stephanie is up by 1.
But again, you have to have to still be aggressive and competitive. And there you can see Eric kind of realizing he has to turn it on right now if he's going to come back in this thing.
Nice throw from Prine. Looks like it might be a 5, and it is. So she builds a 2-point advantage heading into the second half.
So again, another nice opening round here for Stephanie. Now she's got to keep that pedal in the metal and keep putting points on the board. If anything, just trading points with Eric.
What a throw there from the scope. That might be a bullseye.
Bullseye,
It is a bullseye, and it's just the last thing Stephanie needed was a 3 there.
Just like that, with one throw, a 2-point deficit becomes a 1-point advantage for Eric the Scope Chisel.
And that's just one of those beautiful things about axe throwing here. You know, you're never really out of the game as long as you can keep it, honestly, within that 8-point range.
The scope is locked in right now. Another bullseye.
Well, again, we saw in that last matchup, too, that left-hand lane is throwing pretty good. So might be something with the air conditioning over there, maybe. Just pushing the axe a little bit towards the bullseye there, Joey.
It has to be. All right, 3 throws to go. We've got a good one here between Stephanie Prine and Eric Chisel.
5, Eric. 3,
And just
Stephanie.
another errant throw there by Stephanie. Now she's getting used to those 4s and 5s and bullseyes, so not the 3s that she's been looking for. So in leagues past, she's been trying to eliminate the drops. Now she's got to try to eliminate those 3s.
Eric the Scope looking to put this one away. He's got a 4-point lead with 2 throws to go.
That pink lady's
3,
just getting away from
Stephanie, for
Stephanie
Eric.
right now.
Come on now.
You can hear the crowd kind of trying to cheer her on.
All right, one last throw. Eric's up by 5 points.
A 5-point advantage for Eric the Scope Chisel, who's been real hot here on the back half.
Of course, we don't see a lot of drops here from Eric, but of course a drop and a bullseye from Stephanie could do it, but that is a
Bullseye,
dagger
Eric.
from Eric the Scope Chisel to make it 47-40.
All
A
right.
nice comeback.
Final score.
Yeah, what a
Stephanie
strong
40, Eric
second half
47.
for Eric the Scope Chisel. 3 bullseyes on his last 5 throws to go along with a 5 and a 4. It's a 7-point win for the defending champion.
Yeah, so another nice start there by Stephanie Prine. She was able to create a lead against Eric, but again, Eric just kind of capitalized on those mistakes. You can see his first bullseye came on Stephanie's first 3. So just a nice job for him to pad a lead and not look back once he got it.
Yeah, he's really starting to find his rhythm with that left hand, and it didn't take him very long.
No, he goes to 3-2. Stephanie falls to 3-3, but she's definitely going to be a competitor to look out for come tournament time.
Well, we've got much more still to come on week number 2 of Battle Axe. We'll bring all the action to you straight ahead on MC22. Welcome back to Battle Axe. Week number 2, season number 3. It's been a thrilling week thus far, and we've saved the best matchup for last. We've got Matt, the Magic Man Bradshaw, taking on Chris D'Onofrio. Here's D'Onofrio on what it's like going up against the former champion.
This season, it's my first head-to-head with Bradshaw. We see each other 2, maybe 3 times, depending on the season. He's been getting me every single time. Just need to step it up, stay focused, not worry about what he's doing. I have a tendency to do that when I play Bradshaw. So just gotta quit it and stay focused.
To be the best, you've got to beat the best. D'Onofrio trying to take down the former champ right now. Here's Bradshaw on going up against D'Onofrio.
Love going against him. I mean, he's a very good competitor, and that, he elevates his game, which makes me elevate my game, and we just push each other to the limit. So it's good competition. Plus, we're pretty good buds too, so that kind of helps ease the tension a little bit. So it's nice going up against people that you know.
A blockbuster matchup here to close out week number 2. We are really looking forward to this one. Let's bring it to you right now. Matt, the Magic Man Bradshaw, against Chris, the Dagger D'Onofrio.
going to be a tremendous matchup. And again, these are two good pals going up against each other, coming in undefeated. So someone's coming home with a loss here, Joey.
4-0 against 5-0. Matt Bradshaw leading the league, averaging nearly 55 points per game. D'Onofrio averaging 51 points per after the opening week of action. D'Onofrio, though, out to the early lead with a bullseye.
So nice start there by Chris. And again, we noticed it in his matchup with Casey. He's not really giving any concern to his competitor, but in that pregame interview, he talked about worrying about what Bradshaw throws and worried about the competition over there. So the thing that he has to get over is worrying about the Magic Man.
Chris?
It's hard not to worry about what your competitor is doing when he is one of the all-time greats.
And especially when he's wearing prime rib marbleized pants, you know.
Those pants are making me hungry.
It's an intimidation factor is what it is. So get you off your game. There's no way a man with meat on his pants can beat me.
I can't imagine anyone ever wearing those pants has lost.
Or Chris.
Exactly.
Bullseye Matt.
And that's just that's the kind of mistake that Chris just can't stand. He knows that. Looks like he's saying the axe slipped out of his hand a little bit there. Again, high pressure times. The axe, your hands get sweaty.
Yeah, and even just the smallest mistake in a matchup like this can cost you.
It's a nice response there. It looks like a 6. We'll wait on the official ruling. And that looks like a 5 there.
5 Chris, 5 Matt.
Ooh. So just missing.
So it remains a 2-point game.
All right, 5th throw.
After
Matt is
4
up by 2
throws.
points.
So a nice job of Chris to keep the score manageable, stay within striking distance of the Magic Man. But as we know, Bradshaw, he's not going to make very many mistakes.
What a throw there from D'Onofrio. Looks like a bullseye.
Ooh.
4 Matt.
It's a 4 for Bradshaw,
Chris.
and it is a bullseye for D'Onofrio. So just like that, D'Onofrio ties it up. Heading to the second half, he's got a big smile on his face. He knows he's right back in it.
He knows he kind of dodged a bullet there, so got a rare mistake there by Matt the Magic Man. And Chris, again, was able to capitalize on it. So great job by him. See if he can continue to do it. Ooh.
The answer from the Magic Man.
And right back to it. That's got to be so deflating for the dagger to know that you just had him on the ropes, make a mistake, and again, you're right back to where you started from.
Bullseye number 3 of this matchup for Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw.
So again, he's got to focus up, have that nice release point with his hand. And oh my gosh, he knows that that's a rare 3 by Chris the Dagger D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio can't believe it.
Bullseye Matt.
Meanwhile, it's another bullseye for Bradshaw. He's got a 5-point lead now, just 3 throws to go.
Wow, just one of those mistakes we do not see Chris making. So again, going back to that pregame interview, he's got the Magic Man in his mind.
And the Magic Man does not make a lot of mistakes. He'll look to put this one away.
5 Chris, Bullseye Matt.
Right now. A unicorn for the Magic Man.
Wow, so 44-38, 6-point lead. Chris kind of knows this is getting away from him here a little bit. But again, records are important, but points are the overall determining factor for that seeding in the Week 8 double elimination tournament. So he wants to put points to the board no matter what the outcome of this game is.
Well, Matt Bradshaw
5 Matt.
is human. He
5
throws
Chris.
a 5. So it's still a 6-point game. 1 throw to go, and perhaps
last
this
throw.
is where
Matt's up by 6
D'Onofrio
points.
goes for a kill shot to try and pull out a big-time win. He's going to do it.
He's going to do it. So Chris going for the aggressive kill shot, hoping to send this thing into sudden death or take the victory, banking on a mistake by the Magic Man. As we've seen before, Matt doesn't do that very often. But again, points. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for points.
Looks like a 5 from Bradshaw.
Ooh.
And
There you go.
D'Onofrio
Kill
hits
shot,
the
Chris.
kill shot. High fives from Bradshaw
Matt.
and D'Onofrio. What a matchup from 2 of these incredible competitors.
Good throw.
What a
All right,
finish for
so that's what you
D'Onofrio,
have,
but it's Bradshaw
51,
getting the
54
win, 54-51. Well, we knew this one was going to be good, and it lived up to the hype, Bobby.
Absolutely. That rare mistake by Chris there in the 7th throw to throw a 3. And then, of course, Matt just, capitalizing on it absolutely to hit that 6 there, to hit that unicorn in that 6 through 8 throw. Really pulling away, but a nice job from Chris to stay focused and go for that kill shot to put up the 8 points to get his score back up to a respectable 51.
5 bullseyes from Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw in this one to get about just his season average, just under 55 points per game. The Magic Man recently went to Atlanta for the U.S. Open. Here's Bradshaw on what that experience was like.
Yeah, down in Atlanta, I got the lottery pick for the U.S. Open, and what an experience that was. I got bounced out early, but I was able to talk to all the top throwers. I was able to watch a lot of people watch their throws, being able to talk to them about their equipment, how they throw, what their mental preparation is, and the entire axe community down there was just absolutely fantastic. Having a newbie come in and be able to talk to anybody, and they'd be more than willing to give you any type of information you wanted. It was just a fantastic experience.
Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw playing with some of the very best in the world and really pushing himself to elevate his game to an even higher level. Time now for our post-game wrap-up here on Battle Axe. Let's take a look at the standings after 2 weeks of competition. It's the Magic Man, a perfect 8-0, averaging just under 54 points per game. Behind Bradshaw, it's Chris the Dagger D'Onofrio, averaging 51 points and 0.4 points per game. Followed by D'Onofrio, it's Casey Nines, Brian Fittig, Casey Buell, Hannah Brussel, Cody Joachim, Eric Chisel, Brandon Feenstra, and Sarah Fittig rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, a nice smattering of new players and, of course, familiar faces as well. Again, everyone's putting up really high scores. As you can see, the top 3 competitors, all with over 400. Brian not far behind at 394, all averaging, too, in the mid to high 40s into the 50s as well. So it's going to be a really exciting league this year.
Yeah, only 2 weeks in, and we've still got 5 weeks to go in the regular season before the double elimination postseason tournament here on Battle Axe. For my partner, Bobby Bradford, I'm Joey Danya, signing off from the Bustin Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you here again next time on Battle Axe.